Peace and love, TikTok. I want to speak to everyone today about a situation that happened 2 days ago. And the purpose of me talking about this is because I am calling for a round table of the Aboriginal matriarchs in America to come together and have a round table with the Aboriginal matriarchs in Africa. Why am I doing this? Because I am so tired of the disrespect among the African nations towards the Aboriginal American Indians, aka so-called Black Americans, aka so-called American Negro, aka so-called colored people here in North America. Now, when I tell you the story, it's really very disrespectful, and it's a situation that needs to be addressed. Now, 2 days ago, which would be on the 7th, on May the 7th, I had the opportunity to go and visit a loved one who is currently in a rehabilitation assisted living. And while there, it was lunchtime. And during the process of lunch, you have all of the those that are patients there that are elderly. Most of them are elderly. It's a geriatric facility as well. And these people have a time where they take their lunch, and they have a dining facility where everyone goes and sits and eat. So I am taking my family member down to the dining room to sit at the table or the spot that they normally sit in. And they were unable to sit there because someone else was there, because this particular family member has an oversized wheelchair that needs to be at a table that the height of the table is high enough for us to either push them up under the table so you can assist them with feeding, because this family member has to be fed by someone else. Or if you can't do that, then what we would do is just basically sit them on the side of the table and pull our chairs up to the table and feed them. Well, typically what will happen is when her spot is no longer available, no big deal. No one has assigned spots. We would just kind of move to another table that is closest to the window. You have 4 sides to the table, so you can actually sit 4 people at a table setting. And this particular table that's next to the window also is next to another table that sits. There's 2 tables that sit by a window, one to the left and one on the right. So we normally sit at the one on the right when her regular spot is no longer available. So on this particular day, the table that we normally sit in as an alternative spot, it was taken. So the table that was to the right was actually open. Now, normally there's a Albion man, which you all will call YT or Caucasian, but the original Caucasians are Aboriginal, so I don't want to misuse that term as well. So the gentleman is an Albion gentleman, and he normally sits there by himself. He doesn't want anybody else to sit with him, and they allow this type of behavior to take place. So he wasn't there during the time we were there, and he was very, very late. So I decided, hey, this table is free. My family member needs to sit here. and I'm going to feed my family member so that we are able to get her fed and we can just go on and chill for the rest of the day or do whatever we need to do. Take her out and put her in the sun, let her enjoy outdoors or whatever the case may be. So I go to the table and I push my family member up to the table and I begin to feed her, shall I say, feed her. And as I'm feeding her, there is a particular nurse who was one of the nurses on the floor. There's two nurses on this floor, along with a few nurses aides or CNAs. And so while we're sitting there at the table and I'm midstream feeding my family member, the particular nurse, who is of African descent, she is from Nigeria and she is from the Benin tribe in Nigeria, because she and I have had discussions. And she came over to the table and in midstream moved the food, took my family member's food, put it on another table and said, "You'll have to eat at another table because my patient normally sits here and I don't want him to be upset because he can't sit here." Wait a minute, are you kidding me? So I look at her and I say, are there assigned seats here? Are there assigned seats for all the patients? Do they have to sit? Because the area where my family member normally sits, someone else is sitting there and it's no big deal. So we moved to this table because it's free. It's open, no one's sitting here. And she commenced to tell me, "No, but he's been here longer and I don't want to see my patient upset." I was very, very upset. The individual that she disrespected was my family member, matriarchal family member in her 70s. And this lady from Africa, who's an African nurse, from Nigeria, who is from the tribe of Benin, disrespected my family member and moved her food so that a white tea man who is not in a wheelchair, who moves about, comes about, moves, go in and out of the building. When he wants to sit outside, he can sit outside when he wants to. He doesn't need any assistance from anyone. He's able to move about freely. Where my family member is in a wheelchair and needs the assistance of someone to feed them because she can't use her hands at this time. This lady took the food, grabbed all the trays, all the food. I have the spoon in my hand midair to go into her mouth to feed her, and you come and you disrespect an elder? I have a question for the Africans, for those in Africa. I'm sure that you don't show and demonstrate disrespect to your elders like was demonstrated to my family member, who is a matriarchal elder. So this needs to stop. You all come to our country, come to our land, and you're received by our nations, which is the Aboriginal people. We received you over many years. You all have been coming to our lands, and you all have been treated with such goodness. But yet, a daughter of the Benin tribe in Nigeria showed and demonstrated such disrespect to an American Indian Aboriginal matriarch that she would disrespect her in order to please the YT man. I'm calling for a round table. I'm very serious. Of the matriarchals in the lands of Africa, who are the elders, who have a word to say that carry a lot of weight amongst your people. The disrespect among Aboriginals, whether here or over there, it has to stop. And the way it's going to stop is that the matriarchal order and councils of the Aboriginal American Indian nations here in America, we need to sit down with the matriarchal orders of the tribes and the nations in Africa so that we can come to some type of conclusion and begin to move in a way that we can work together, because our oppressor is your oppressor. Our enslaver is your enslaver. Our people that are on this land that have conquered us through culture and through religion, Christianity, Catholicism, and all of the other religions that comes out of Catholicism, are the ones that have caused this big great rift. What they say about us over there to turn you against us over here is untrue. What they say about you over there to turn us against you over there is untrue. So if we have the same people in the background that is being the puppeteer or the puppeter of this whole schematic of enslavement and oppression, we need to sit down and have a talk. So I'm calling for a round table of all of the African matriarchal orders that are Aboriginal to sit down and let's have a discussion so that we can change this paradigm of what has been done to all of us who are hued, melanated, and are Aboriginal to this planet. Peace and love from one matriarch to the other. Please inbox me, DM me, because I want this to happen. I have other matriarchs, and we're willing to sit down and have a discussion on how to fix this problem that has been caused by our oppressor that we have in common. Peace and love.